Have you ever been in that moment where someone looks at you, smiles, and asks a very simple question? So, tell me about yourself. And suddenly, your mind goes completely blank?
And not just blank, but full at the same time. Like you know who you are, you've lived your whole life being you, but you just don't know how to put it in the words, especially in English.
Exactly. Your heart starts beating a little faster, you start overthinking every word, wondering if your grammar is correct, if your sentence sounds natural, and instead of speaking confidently, you freeze or give a very short answer.
I remember this feeling so clearly, especially when I first started speaking English. Because in my mind, I had so many things to say about myself, my story, my interests, my experiences. But when it came to actually speaking, I would just say something like, "My name is Daniel. I am from," and then stop.
Yes, and then there's that awkward silence where you feel like you should say more, but you don't know how to continue.
And that moment can make you feel like your English is not good enough, even though the truth is, you just don't have a simple structure to express yourself.
That's such an important point because talking about yourself is not just about vocabulary or grammar. It's about knowing how to organize your thoughts in a simple and natural way.
Exactly. And once you understand that structure, everything becomes easier. You don't need perfect English, you just need clear and simple sentences.
So today we're going to help you with that. Not just by giving you sentences to memorize, but by showing you how to feel comfortable talking about yourself, like you're having a real conversation.
And we'll share our own experiences too, so you can see how natural it can be, even if your English is not perfect.
Let's start with the most important thing. When someone asks you, tell me about yourself, they are not asking for your entire life story.
Yes, they don't expect you to talk for 10 minutes. They just want a simple introduction, something that helps them understand who you are.
So the easiest way to do that is to follow a simple flow. And the first step is very basic. Your introduction.
You can start with something like, "My name is Daniel, and I'm from India."
Or you can make it a little more natural and friendly. Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm from the UK.
Notice how simple that is. You don't need complicated words, just clear and confident sentences.
Yes, and confidence is not about using difficult vocabulary. It's about speaking calmly and naturally.
After that, the next step is to talk about what you do, and many people get stuck here because they think they need to sound very professional.
But you don't need to. You can just say, I'm a student, or I work as a teacher, or even, I'm currently learning English.
That last one is actually very powerful because it shows honesty and effort.
Let's make it a little more natural. I'm currently learning English, and I really enjoy improving my speaking skills.
See how we added a feeling to it? That makes your sentence more human, more real.
I remember when I started speaking English, I used to say very robotic sentences, like I was reading from a book, and it didn't feel like me.
Same here. I thought I had to sound perfect, but in trying to be perfect, I sounded unnatural.
And the moment I started speaking in a simple and honest way, everything changed. I felt more relaxed and people understood me better.
That's something I want everyone listening to remember. Simple English is powerful English.
Now, let's move to the next step, which is talking about your interests. And this is where you can really connect with people.
Yes, because when you talk about what you enjoy, your voice naturally becomes more expressive.
You can say something like, in my free time, I like reading books and listening to music.
Or you can make it more personal. In my free time, I enjoy watching podcasts and learning new things.
Notice how we use phrases like, in my free time, or I enjoy. These are very useful and natural expressions.
Let me share a small tip here. Instead of saying, "I like" again and again, you can also say, "I enjoy," "I love," "I'm interested in."
For example, I'm interested in self-improvement and learning English.
That sounds more natural and confident.
Now, let's put everything together in a simple way.
Yes. Imagine someone asks you, "Tell me about yourself." You can say,
Hi, my name is Emma. I'm from the UK. I'm currently working as a content creator, and in my free time, I enjoy reading and having meaningful conversations.
that's it. Simple, clear, and natural.
You don't need to say more unless the conversation continues.
And if the other person is interested, they will ask you more questions.
Exactly. And then the conversation becomes easier because now you're not stalling from zero.
I think one of the biggest fears people have is making mistakes while speaking.
Yes, and that fear stops them from even trying.
But the truth is, mistakes are part of learning. And most people don't even notice small mistakes.
They care more about understanding you than judging your grammar.
I remember making so many mistakes when I started, but instead of stopping, I kept speaking. And slowly, my confidence improved.
That's the key. Not perfection, but practice.
And also, being kind to yourself.
Because learning a new language is not easy. It takes time, patience, and courage.
So if you feel nervous when talking about yourself in English,
That's completely normal.
but don't let that stop you.
Start small.
Use simple sentences.
And most importantly,
Speak from your heart.
because when you speak honestly,
Your words don't need to be perfect, they just need to be real.
Once you understand that talking about yourself doesn't need to be perfect, something inside you starts to relax. And that relaxation is very important because when you are relaxed, your mind works better. Your words come more naturally, and you stop overthinking every small detail.
yes. And now that you already know how to give a simple introduction, let's slowly go a little deeper because in real conversations, people often ask follow-up questions. And this is where many learners start to feel nervous again.
For example, someone might ask you, "Can you tell me more about your work?" Or "What do you like to do in your free time?"
And instead of seeing these questions as pressure, you can see them as an opportunity to express yourself more, step by step.
Let's take a simple example. If someone asks you, "What do you do?" you already know you can say something like, "I'm a student," or "I work as a designer."
Now, the next step is to expand your answer a little, and this is where many people get stuck. But it's actually very simple.
You just need to add one more sentence.
Exactly. For example, I'm a student and I'm studying business.
Or, "I work as a teacher and I really enjoy helping students learn new things."
See how natural that sounds? You're just adding a small detail.
And that small detail makes your answer more interesting and more complete.
Let's try another example. If someone asks you, what do you do in your free time?
You can start simple. "In my free time, I like watching movies."
Then you can expand it. In my free time, I like watching movies, especially motivational and inspirational ones.
Or even, "In my free time, I enjoy watching movies because they help me relax after a busy day."
Now your sentence has feeling, and that's what makes your English more powerful.
I remember when I first started learning this technique, just adding one extra sentence, it completely changed the way I spoke.
Yes, because instead of giving short answers, you start having real conversations.
And conversations are not about perfect grammar. They're about connection.
Now, let's talk about something very important. How to talk about your past.
This is where many learners feel confused because they think they need to know complex grammar.
But again, you can keep it simple.
For example, you can say, "I grew up in a small town."
Or, I completed my studies in 2020.
Or even, "I started learning English 2 years ago."
These are simple past sentences, and they are enough for most conversations.
Let me share something personal here. When I first started speaking English, I was very afraid of using past tense because I thought I would make mistakes.
I felt the same way. I used to avoid talking about my past completely just to stay safe.
But avoiding it didn't help me grow.
Exactly. Growth only happens when you try, even if it's not perfect.
So I started using simple sentences even if they were not perfect. And slowly, I improved.
That's something we want you to do too. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start speaking now.
Now let's connect everything together again.
Yes. Imagine this situation. Someone asks you to talk about yourself and then asks a few follow-up questions.
You can say something like, "Hi, my name is Emma, and I'm from the UK. I'm currently working as a content creator, and I really enjoy creating videos that help people learn English. In my free time, I like reading and listening to podcasts. I started learning about communication a few years ago, and since then, I've been very interested in personal growth."
That sounds like a real, natural introduction.
And notice, it's still simple,
No complicated grammar,
just clear ideas.
and that's the goal.
Now let's talk about something emotional emotional for a moment, because many people don't just struggle with English.
They struggle with confidence.
Yes, they feel shy, nervous, or even afraid of being judged.
I remember a time when I avoided speaking English in front of others because I felt embarrassed.
Me too. I used to avoid talking about my past completely, just to stay safe.
But avoiding it didn't help me grow. Exactly. Growth only happens when you try, even if it's not perfect.
So I started using simple sentences, even if they were not perfect, and slowly I improved.
That's something we want you to do too. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start speaking now.
Now let's connect everything together again.
Yes. Imagine this situation. Someone asks you to talk about yourself and then asks a few follow-up questions.
You can say something like, "Hi, my name is Daniel, and I'm from the UK. I'm currently working as a photographer, and I really enjoy capturing beautiful moments. In my free time, I like playing guitar and exploring new places. I started learning about art a few years ago, and since then, I've been very interested in personal expression."
That sounds like a real, natural introduction.
And notice, it's still simple,
No complicated grammar.
just clear ideas.
And that's the goal.
Now let's talk about something emotional for a moment, because many people don't just struggle with English.
They struggle with confidence.
Yes, they feel shy, nervous, or even afraid of being judged.
I remember a time when I avoided speaking English in front of others because I felt embarrassed.
Me too. I used to compare myself to others who spoke better, and that made me feel even less confident.
But one day I realized something important. No one starts perfect.
Everyone you see speaking fluently today was once a beginner.
They made mistakes.
They felt nervous,
They kept going.
and that's what made the difference.
So if you're listening right now and you feel like your English is not good enough, we want you to remember this.
You don't need to be perfect to start speaking,
You just need to start,
even if your sentences are simple.
even if you make mistakes.
Because every time you speak,
You are improving.
every sentence you say,
You are bringing closer to confidence.
and one day,
You will look back.
and realize how far you've come.
So keep practicing,
Keep expressing yourself.
and most importantly,
Keep believing in yourself.
as you continue practicing these small ways of talking about yourself, something very important begins to happen inside you. And it's not just about improving your English, it's about slowly becoming more comfortable with expressing who you are, your thoughts, your story, and your voice.
Yes, because learning to talk about yourself in English is not only a language skill, it's also an emotional journey where you move from hesitation to confidence, from silence to expression.
And at this stage, one of the most powerful things you can learn is how to tell a short story about yourself, because stories create connection.
Exactly. When you share a small story, even a simple one, people feel more connected to you, and the conversation becomes more meaningful.
But many learners feel scared when they hear the word story because they think it has to be long or perfect.
But it doesn't. It can be very simple.
Let's show you how.
You can start with a situation from your life. For example, when I started learning English, I felt very nervous.
Then you add a feeling. I was afraid of making mistakes and speaking in front of others.
And then you add what happened next. But slowly, I started practicing every day, and now I feel more confident.
That's it. A simple story, but very powerful.
Yes, because now you're not just giving information, you're sharing an experience.
I remember when I first shared a story like this in English, it felt different. It felt more personal, more real, and people responded in a more positive way.
Same here. I noticed that when I spoke from my experience instead of just giving facts, conversations became more natural.
And this is something you can practice every day, even with very simple topics.
For example, you can talk about your day.
Yes, something like, today was a busy day. I had a lot of work, but in the evening I took some time to relax and listen to music.
Or you can talk about your learning journey. I started learning English a few months ago, and at first it was very difficult. But now I can understand more and speak a little better.
These small stories help you practice both English and confidence.
And they also help you organize your thoughts better.
Now, let's talk about another important skill, adding emotions to your sentences.
This is what makes your English sound alive.
Yes, instead of just saying, I like English,
You can say, I really enjoy learning English because it makes me feel more confident.
or instead of saying, my job is good,
You can say, I enjoy my job because I get to help people and learn new things.
see the difference? The second sentence feels more human, more expressive.
And you don't need difficult words to do this.
You just need to add why you feel something.
That one word, because, can completely change your sentence.
Let's practice a few examples together.
I like reading.
Because it helps me relax and learn new ideas.
I enjoy speaking English.
Because it allows me to connect with more people.
I'm learning English because I want to improve my future opportunities.
Now your sentences have meaning.
And meaning creates connection.
I think this is something many learners don't realize. They focus so much on grammar that they forget about communication.
Yes, and communication is about sharing feelings, ideas, and experiences.
Not just perfect sentences. I remember a moment when I spoke in English with someone, and my grammar was not perfect at all. But I spoke with honesty, and they understood me completely.
That's the power of real communication.
And that's what we want you to focus on.
Now let's take everything we've learned and build a slightly longer introduction.
Yes, imagine you're meeting someone new and you want to talk about yourself in a more complete way.
You can say something like,
Hi, my name is Emma, and I'm from the UK. I'm currently working as a content creator, and I really enjoy creating content that helps people learn English. In my free time, I like reading and listening to podcasts because they help me relax and learn new ideas. I started focusing on communication a few years ago, and since then, I've become more confident in expressing myself.
That sounds natural, expressive, and complete.
And still simple.
That's the beauty of it.
Now, let's talk about something deeper, something emotional that many people feel but don't talk about.
The fear of being judged.
Yes, the fear that if you speak in English, people will notice your mistakes and judge you.
I felt that fear for a long time.
Me too, and it stopped me from speaking freely.
But one day I realized something important. Most people are not judging you.
They're focused on themselves.
And even if someone notices a mistake, it doesn't mean they're judging you.
It just means you're learning.
And learning always includes mistakes.
So instead of being afraid of mistakes,
Start seeing them as progress.
because every mistake means you're trying,
And every time you try,
you get better.
so if you want to improve your English and learn how to talk about yourself,
Don't wait for the perfect moment.
start now.
Speak a little every day.
Share your thoughts,
Tell your story.
because your story matters.
And your voice deserves to be heard.
As you continue practicing speaking about yourself in English, something very meaningful begins to change, not just in your language, but in the way you see yourself. Because now you're not just learning words, you're learning how to express your identity, your experiences, and your emotions in a completely new way.
Yes, and this stage is very special because you start to notice that you're no longer translating every sentence in your mind. You're beginning to think in English, even if it's just a little.
I remember the first time that happened to me. It felt strange but exciting, like my brain was slowly adapting and I didn't need to search for every single word anymore.
That's such an important milestone, and it happens when you practice consistently, even in small ways.
And one of the best ways to reach that point is by talking about your daily life, because it gives you regular practice with simple, useful sentences.
Yes, your daily routine is something you already know very well, so you don't need to think too much about ideas. You just focus on expressing them in English.
For example, you can say, I wake up early in the morning and start my day with a cup of coffee.
Or, I usually spend my day working, and in the evening, I like to relax and watch something.
These sentences are simple, but they help you build fluency.
And you can slowly add more details.
I wake up early in the morning and start my day with a cup of coffee because it helps me feel fresh and focused. Again, that word because makes your sentence more expressive.
I used to practice this by talking to myself, just describing my day in English, even when I was alone.
That's a very powerful technique.
Yes, because it removes the fear of judgment and you can speak freely.
I did something similar. I would think about my day and try to explain it in English in my mind. Like, today I learned something new, or today was a difficult day, but I managed it.
That habit slowly built confidence.
And confidence makes speaking easier.
Now, let's talk about another important skill, handling longer conversations.
Because in real life, people don't just ask one question, they continue the conversation.
And to keep the conversation going, you don't need perfect English, you just need to respond naturally.
For example, if someone says, "That's interesting. How did you start learning English?"
You can answer, I started learning English because I wanted to improve my communication skills and feel more confident when speaking with others.
Or even simply, "I started learning English a few months ago, and at first it was difficult, but now I'm improving."
Again, simple, honest, and clear.
I think honesty is very important here.
Yes, because when you speak honestly, you don't need to pretend or use complicated words.
You just speak from your experience.
And that makes your English feel natural.
Let me share something personal again. There was a time when I tried to use very advanced words to impress people.
I think many learners do that.
Yes, but instead of sounding confident, I felt more nervous because I was afraid of making mistakes.
And that pressure made speaking even harder.
Exactly. And when I stopped trying to impress and started focusing on expressing, everything became easier.
That's such an important lesson.
Because communication is not about impressing people.
It's about connecting with them.
Now let's build a slightly longer and more natural conversation example.
Yes, imagine someone asks you multiple questions and you respond comfortably.
You could say something like,
Hi, my name is Emma and I'm from the UK. I'm currently working as a content creator and I really enjoy helping people learn English. In my free time, I like reading and listening to podcasts because they help me relax and improve my knowledge. I started focusing on communication a few years ago, and since then, I've become more confident in expressing myself. My daily routine is quite simple. I usually work during the day and spend my evenings learning something new or relaxing.
That sounds very natural and smooth.
And it's something you can build step by step.
You don't need to say all of this at once.
You can learn one part at a time,
Practice it.
and then slowly add more,
That's how fluency is built.
step by step.
I think at this point, it's also important to talk about self-belief.
Yes, because even if you know what to say, if you don't believe in yourself, you might still hesitate.
I used to doubt myself a lot. Even when I knew the sentence, I would think, what if it's wrong?
That doubt can stop you from speaking.
But then I realized something. Speaking is how you learn, not the result of learning.
That's such a powerful thought.
Yes, you don't become confident first and then speak,
You speak first.
and confidence comes after.
So if you're waiting to feel confident before speaking,
You might wait forever,
instead start speaking now,
even if your voice shakes a little,
even if your sentences are not perfect.
because every time you speak,
You are growing
every word you say,
is a step forward.
and slowly,
You will feel more comfortable,
more confident.
more yourself.
So keep going
Keep practicing
and keep believing.
that you can express yourself in English. And as you reach this point in your journey where you've practiced introducing yourself, sharing your experiences, expressing your thoughts, and even telling small stories in English, something very meaningful begins to settle inside you. A quiet sense of confidence that maybe, just maybe, you can do this.
Yes, not in a loud or perfect way, but in a real way. In a way that feels natural, like you're no longer hiding behind silence, but slowly stepping forward and allowing your voice to be heard.
I remember a moment when I realized this for myself. It wasn't in a classroom or a formal setting. It was during a simple conversation where I spoke without overthinking, without trying to be perfect, and for the first time, I felt like I was truly expressing myself.
That moment is very special because it's not about perfect grammar or advanced vocabulary. It's about connection, about feeling understood, and about realizing that your words have value.
And that's what we want for you. Not perfection, but expression. Not fear, but confidence. Not silence, but your voice.
Because your story matters. Your experiences matter. And the way you express yourself, even in simple English, matters more than you think.
Let's take one final moment to bring everything together. Imagine someone looks at you and asks, "Tell me about yourself." And this time, instead of feeling nervous, you take a small breath and speak calmly.
You might say something like,
Hi, my name is Emma, and I'm from the UK. I'm currently working as a content creator, and I really enjoy helping people learn English. In my free time, I like reading and listening to podcasts because they help me relax and learn new things. I started focusing on communication a few years ago, and since then, I've become more confident in expressing myself. I'm still learning, but I'm really enjoying the process.
And that last line is so important. I'm still learning, but I'm really enjoying the process.
Because it shows honesty,
It shows growth.
and most importantly,
It shows confidence in your journey.
you don't need to be perfect to speak.
You just need to be willing.
Willing to try.
Willing to make mistakes.
Willing to grow.
And if you keep doing that,
Day by day,
sentence by sentence,
you will become more fluent
more confident.
and more comfortable being yourself in English.
So if you're listening right now, we want you to take a small step today.
Try introducing yourself in English,
Say it out loud,
even if you're alone,
even if it feels uncomfortable at first.
because that one small step,
Can change everything.
and if this conversation helped you, if you feel even a little more confident than before,
We'd love to hear from you.
write your introduction in the comments.
Tell us about yourself.
Share your story.
Because this is a safe space to learn and grow together.
And don't forget to like this video if it helped you.
Subscribe to the channel for more English learning conversations like this.
And share this with someone who is also learning English, because sometimes all we need is a little encouragement to start.
This is Daniel,
And this is Emma.
reminding you that your voice matters
Your story matters.
and you can speak English with confidence.
Just take it one sentence at a time.